Game one of the Eastern Conference Finals is tonight. We've got some great info to help you bet both the game and the series. Plus, in Major League Baseball, I have a situation you're going to want to make note of. Well, Mark Zinno believes there's an undervalued favorite on Tuesday's board. Let's start in the NBA, though, Mark. On yesterday's show, you and I seem to agree the Pacers have more of a chance in this series than the Knicks would have. Can Indiana come in and possibly steal game one or at least cover the spread? WagerTalk odds screen currently showing most of the market has settled on Celtics -10.
Yeah, it's good. Look, it's not going to be easy for the Pacers. I think there's a couple of factors at play here. One, Boston is obviously more rested. Two, you have the emotional letdown spot after winning a Game 7 on the road. And then, oh, by the way, you're still going on the road. It's not like they won a Game 7 at home and then are playing again. Or it's not like they won a Game 7 on the road, then they get to play at home like the Timberwolves do, right? The Timberwolves won a Game 7 on the road. Now they're at home against Dallas. So they have to be on the road and then on the road again against a better team. And so I think there certainly, makes it more difficult for the Pacers. But most of all, it's the Pacers defense that makes it the most difficult because this is the best offensive team they've faced to this point. Boston is one of the most efficient teams in the NBA. They make a ton of shots. And even though they don't play very fast, this is not a very skilled defensive team. And so Boston's going to have its way offensively, I think, with the Pacers here. It's just a question of, can the Pacers keep it close? I kind of look at this the same way I did with Boston and Cavs. Like, if you want to start to think about playing Indiana, you better play them early because chances are Boston will continue to pull away late.
Yeah, so with Indiana, Mark, what we've seen from them and what's the key for them moving forward in this series is doing what they've done in the first two rounds, which is attack the rim and score in transition. They have been elite in both of those areas. This team, you look at their shot quality numbers through the first rounds, they've been outstanding. They're taking over half, actually closer to 60% of their shots, either at the rim or from three. With Porzingis still out from Boston, I think they've still got a chance to attack the rim. Now, Boston was number one in the regular season at fewest points allowed in transition. That's going to be key because Indiana has been just so tremendous at getting out in transition and scoring. So I think that's the crux of the series. We agree that for the Pacers to have life be live in the series, they've got to steal one of the first two games in Boston. Both Miami and Cleveland, two inferior teams, were able to do that. But the odds are saying, Indiana, a 10-point underdog here. They are certainly up against it in Boston when it comes to winning the game. But we think they have a puncher's chance in the series, or at least more of a chance than the odds makers may think. We'll talk about that in our best bet coming up just in a little bit. But we want you to let us know how you're betting game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. You can even smash that like button down below while you're telling us in the comment section if you enjoy what you're hearing here on The Morning Wager. We always appreciate the support. And feel free to comment with your favorite Major League Baseball bet for Tuesday, because that's where we're turning next. Zinno, the Royals got me yesterday. My God, Reese Olson is just snake bitten. This man, it's the old adage, it's better to have no luck than whatever his luck is this season, because this guy can't catch a break. But you are not overthinking Tuesday's game between Kansas City and Detroit.
No, look, I'm going to go back to the well here with the Royals, who are 19-8 at home straight up, and they're laying a very short number. Look, odds makers continue to respect the Tigers, mostly because of their starting pitching, which I get to a certain extent, but I just don't respect that lineup all that much, enough for me to want to back them in certain spots here. Look, I know that the Royals have won 5 straight at home. In fact, they've won 10 of their last 13 at home, dating back to the end of April. So you're sort of walking into a situation here where, you'd think you'd have to pay a premium for how good this team is, but really you don't because of the respect that the Tigers have. Casey Mize has been a very good starter for the most part. The numbers don't scream at you, but he's 1-2 with a 3.5 ERA and a 1.19 whip. He only has 32 Ks in 43 2/3 innings. So, he certainly is a guy that isn't putting a lot of runners on because he's only allowed 42 hits in those same 43 innings. So the other part of this for Casey Mize is that he is only getting a minimal 4 runs of support when he goes on the bump for the Tigers. Now, the flip side, the Royals start Alec Marsh, who has been great for them all year long. He's been absolutely phenomenal. You'd look at the 3-1 record, but a 2.43 ERA and a 1.05 WHIP. He's only allowed 29 hits in 37 innings, so very, very tough to get on base against him. This is a Tigers team that doesn't hit the ball well. Casey March gets over 5.5 runs of support per start for the Royals. They are 6-1 when he is on the bump. I think they make that 7-1 here for a team that's been very good at home this season, giving the Royals at an extremely short price, under 110 here on the money line.
I am going to look at Reds Padres, and this is a great situation to jump on Cincinnati, in my opinion. They were off Monday. What were the Padres doing Monday? Well, they were playing a doubleheader, a day-night doubleheader down in Atlanta. So, from a scheduling perspective, absolutely no doubt about it, guys. Who has the edge coming into this series opener? It is the Reds at home. And San Diego's generally been poor against lefties this season since he's tossing out Andrew Abbott to the mound. Record-wise, Abbott, who is a southpaw, oh, by the way, he's been snake bit by some poor luck, but he's also allowed 2 runs or less in 6 of his last 7 starts. I'm expecting a strong start from Abbott here. Meanwhile, the Padres, they counter with Joe Musgrove, 6.36 ERA, 1.51 WHIP, his 8 starts. So not only is the situation that edge to the Reds, I think the starting pitching edge goes to them as well. I know the Reds have struggled to hit, okay? It's been really ugly so far in May, but I'm going to make the case here that this team has been more unlucky than they have been bad. To that point, they are an MLB worst, 1-11 in one-run games. Remember, it wasn't that long ago, we were talking about the Astros' lousy record in one-run games. We've seen that start to change. The Astros progress to the mean a little bit. I'm not saying Cincinnati's a playoff team. I'm not saying they're a great team. I think, though, they're due for some better luck. And I think the situation here, given the scheduling spot, given there's the San Diego's lack of success against lefties, you got to back the Reds here. I'm going for 6 straight free play winners on my page, wt.buzz/BP. You can find a complete write-up on this game there, where you can also find a half-price NBA winner from me for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Yes, it is Half Price Tuesday at WagerTalk.com, everybody. All packages, 50% off, including my Game 1 NBA winner, just $12.50. Look, it's been a ridiculous run in the NBA and soccer for me. Combined in those two sports, a 37-14-1 run the last 32 days. 28-13 last 41 in the NBA. You go back even further, I'm up 69 units going back to last year's finals. Zinno, I know you are all over Game 1 tonight for Half Price Tuesday. You've got a 5% play, so people can get that. Normally priced at $35, a 5% play, but people can take advantage of a great deal over at your page right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I've locked in here on Game 1, been locked in since the line posted. I love the read where we are right here in this Game 1 spot. So we loaded up a 5% play. We're on 3-1 in 5% plays this NBA playoffs alone, guys. So we are seeing the board really well when we dive in deep here, and I love this spot. We also have a Major League Baseball play up on the site today as well as we turn things around on the diamond. So go to wt.buzz/MZ. Get that 5% play. It's been up since yesterday. You can get it today, as Brian Power said, for half price. An absolutely great deal on the website at wt.buzz/MZ. Half price today.
So Game 1 winners locked and loaded. But for our show best bet today, Mark, we're going to take a look at the series, the Eastern Conference Finals, and how to approach betting that. Oh, by the way, our show best bet yesterday didn't get much easier than that with the Nationals plus 1.5. They didn't even need those runs because they destroyed the Twins in the nation's capital. But let's get back to the NBA and how we're betting the Eastern Conference Finals as a series. We alluded to this yesterday, Mark. We like the Pacers getting plus 2.5 games in the series, especially at this plus price. You can find this plus 130 pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it really is perplexing to me a little bit that that number is at a plus price, given these teams played 5 games during the regular season, and Indiana won 2 of them. Now, granted, again, they both won 2 of them on their home floor, but I would expect that Indiana won't lose 2 games at home. Right? If they win 1, they're guaranteed to get to a 5th. And obviously, if they get to a 5th, if they could steal, 1 on the road here, they should be able to win a second one in Game 6 at home. I just don't see them getting swept at home in this series. They're too good. They shoot too well. If they could steal one on the road here in the first two, if we had that normal Boston lapse in game two that we've seen after they, just kind of quit and say, hey, we're better than these guys, and, we know it, and then they forget to play basketball in game two. If we get that here, I feel really comfortable about where we are. Not going to feel great about going in the 0-2 hole, but I think the Pacers certainly are competitive enough, and the style that they play is one that is going to give the Boston Celtics fits. It's going to force Boston to make shots, and they're going to have to get up and down very, very quickly. And I think the style favors the Pacers here.
Yeah, the series is going to be played at a much faster pace than what we saw in the first two rounds involving Boston against Miami and Cleveland, two teams in the bottom third. Indiana's number 2 in pace. These are the top 2 teams in the league in offensive efficiency. I mentioned Indiana's success in transition and at the rim earlier. I'll just throw this in as well with Boston. A lot of people talk about their defensive lapses, but at the offensive end, sometimes where they come up short, Marcus, they just start settling for bad mid-range jumpers. You've got to attack Indiana at the rim. So that's something to pay attention to as well. Is Boston aggressive to getting towards the rim against Indiana? Because Indiana, for all its defensive shortcomings, and there are many, they're not that bad at defending the three. They can run you off the three-point line, and they don't give up a lot of wide open looks from behind the arc. So our show best bet today for the Eastern Conference Finals is Indiana, plus 2.5 games at plus 130. If you want to hedge a little bit, you can bet Boston to win the series in 5. That's plus 190. And the only way you wouldn't win then, if you had those two bets, is if the Celtics swept. And we don't think the Celtics are going to sweep, Mark,
no.
Obviously.
If they sweep, that would be very surprising. That would be shocking for Indiana, given, as you mentioned, the offensive efficiency, how well they shoot. They have the shooters to keep up with Boston. And that's why I kept saying repeatedly, I don't think the Knicks had the shooters, whether it was in their current constructed form or even if they were 100% healthy with Julius Randle. They don't have the shooters that Boston has, and it would be tough for them to keep up. They would have to win a pace war and grind everything down to a screeching halt. And I think it's better off when you look at Indiana. They're going to create some problems for the Celtics.
Not surprising is that another fine edition of the Morning Wager is in the books. Let us know what you thought of the show. Hit that subscribe button. We always appreciate your support here on WagerTalk TV. Of course, when you hit the subscribe button, you're guaranteed not to miss any of our exclusive sports betting content. For Mark Zinno, I am Bryan Power. Until next time, let's cash some wagers.